Hello? Hello, hello? Hello? It's me? Wow. 1 second. Feeling kind of out of it because I've been doing my best to not take a nap during the day. Hold on. There we are. I've been doing my best not to take a nap during the day. 100% taking its toll on me. Taking its toll on me. Goodbye. So many times before. Hello, hello, Stone Bee Studio. Hello, hello. Let me just go straight into it, I suppose. Let me see. Boom. All right. Let me just... So instead of sleeping, I've just been trying to work on stuff in order to keep myself engaged. So check it out. What I made. It's a bit bizarre, but I wrote a, or I integrated in a TOML parsing library to Godot. Not via GD native, even though I probably should have done that. But in this case, it's also just easily portable to the web for whatever reason. There's almost no reason to do this, by the way. I just thought it would be interesting. Where's my anime girl? All right, hold on, I got you. No jokes here. No kiddings. No takebacks. Oh, baby. He's done it. Just gotta rotate my upper spinal column in such a way that enables this. Hello. Hello, hello. Wow. Time to catfish more people. All right. So check it out. Not too bad. Not too bad. Technically, this class doesn't really exist. But what I'm trying to do right now is I want to extract this and then just offer this as a patch. Because I don't think I even want this in my standard Godot build that I usually use. For catfishing people? Yeah, exactly. Catfishing people. Exactly. That's what I do best. That's what VTubing is for, isn't it? It's to trick people into thinking like, oh, it's an anime girl. And then you click on the stream and say, oh, either this anime girl has like the deepest voice I've ever heard, or I have a feeling that this person may not be a girl. IRL. let me see it. This should hopefully be really quick since I am more or less just copying Godot's built-in JSON parsing format. Let me do that really quick. Let me see. We don't really have any errors. I guess I could store the error. Yeah, I suppose. So then we have what, exception, then there's a location. Protected source location. What, how do I get the location? Because it's protected. Then, oh, okay, source location. There we go. And then source location is a source location. God, I hate writing C++. Okay. In the Latin American community, we have traumas with the VTubers. There was one that was supposedly one but mute, so he never spoke and he cheated on us. I don't know. I've seen the videos before. It was like some like Japanese VTuber. They were switching their scenes, and instead of switching their scenes, they accidentally like turned off, or they switched to just their regular webcam. And it was awkward, right? But then they still retained all their viewers anyways. And I was like, wait, what? I think there's a few instances of that. I'm not sure which ones are real or not, but I've always thought that was kind of funny. Yeah, I like to think that I try to be upfront about it. Mostly because I don't own a voice changer. I was considering it at some point. I was like, now that I have this program, what if I also wrote in a feature to it? Because I already have lip syncing. So because of that, like I have your voice data. What I could do is I could transform it using this program. You would just capture that output and oh baby. And all in one, you can be your own dream girl. Or a dream guy, I don't know. I'm assuming it's a bit harder to lower your voice though than it is to make your voice a bit higher. Right, because I think part of what makes voices believable, and this is just what I've read from my research, right? So how lip syncing works is that it mostly works off of like the lower register. So like it's the bassier tones, the bass tones, right? It's the bass tones. So if you do not have like good bass tones, it's the voice is going to sound very fake, which is somewhat amusing. Your app can fail and show the real face of the monster that runs it. Is there probably? Oh, no. There is no probability. But I think what happens is that they just, when they're switching scenes, they'll go from like, oh, we'll go from this scene to this scene, this scene to this scene. And so I suppose some people might just have like a regular camera scene. I, fortunately, do not. Although it's not hard to find my face. I think I've accidentally showed my face. Not from like a webcam view, but in some of my profile pictures, I do just have my regular face. And it's like, well, I don't really care, really. Like, I think my Twitter has my real face. What does my Twitter look like? Let's look at my Twitter feed. Let's actually not look at my Twitter feed, just in case. Yeah, you know what? It was a good call not to look at my Twitter feed. Look at that. There's me after I graduated. That's not actually a recent picture of me. That might be me from when I was 4, perhaps 3. And then I just never got around to changing it. So, yeah, that was I graduated, I got my degree, guys. Get it? It's a joke. Very cute. Okay, no. Hey, you know. People love kids. People love kids. Let me see. Cannot. Is there like a cannot parse? Parse error. Yes, that's exactly what I want. Parse error. All right. Just let me finish doing this really quick. Everyone loves C++. We'll all learn C++ together. Error line. Amusingly enough, I actually have all of these functions already as well. So toml parse result. And then this one is just called toml gd. I called it toml gd so it doesn't was it conflict with any future toml implementation, so I can still keep using my built-in or my custom toml implementation. What toml stands for Tom's markup language, I think. What does toml stand for? It's like Tom's markup language, right? Tomlinson? Tom's obvious minimal language. Oh, Tom's obvious minimal language. I knew that. I know things sometimes. Maybe I should learn a bit of C++ and not Ruby. I would. That's hard. You've listed two languages which are both not my favorites. Like C++ is hard, but I think it gives you a very good baseline for just like programming in general. Like if you can program in C++, you can program in pretty much anything, right? Whereas Ruby is, I don't know, like if you talk to people that write a lot of Ruby, they'll tell you that they like it, but also I think anyone who doesn't, they're almost the same thing, right? Like if you don't write C++, you probably hate C++. If you don't write Ruby, you probably hate Ruby. Whereas, you know, I think with something like Python, I think people are just like, yeah, Python's a language. It's not my favorite, but gets the job done. What is your favorite? My favorite is probably, I think recently it's probably GD scripts. Like, I used to like Python the most, if only because that was my first language. But like the thing that I hate the most about Python is that in order to declare a variable, you don't need to declare it as a variable. You just say like, oh, you know, this name is now equal to this. I hate that. Because then you never know. You never know. And Ruby has the same problem as well. I think Ruby has the same problem where you just say like a variable is a thing. You don't have to say like this is a variable. I like it when it's explicit. C++ is a bit too explicit, but. So GDScript is ridiculously easy, like everyone says. I don't think it's ridiculously easy. Well, compared to like other languages, yeah, it's pretty easy. It's pretty easy. Like, I don't know, like a language being easy isn't a bad thing, I'd say. Like, I think if the language looks a lot like other languages, that's probably a good thing. Right? That's why like Java and C# are like pretty decent languages, because if you can write C++, you know how to write Java. If you know C#, you know how to write Java, and vice versa. Like if you know how to write Python, you might have some trouble. But it's mostly the same thing. It's the kind of the language that everyone knows how to write. No one really likes it as their favorite language, but you know, that's one of the nice parts, is that everyone more or less can write Java. Yeah, Python used to be my favorite. GDScript is up there. What else? I don't know. I think I've put at second probably Java. Probably Java, he says, after just saying that Java is no one's favorite. I suppose what I said is still true, though. Java isn't my favorite. Tom will parse result. It's my second favorite. Oh, this is not how you do it. This is how you do it. Bring me over here. Then I'll just have to write out every single function signature. Alright, so void this thing. Find methods. Like, the only reason why, in my opinion, that you would ever want to write C++ is if you want, like, if you want the performance. Like, you cannot get, well, you cannot reasonably get better performance than either C or C++. I guess they're roughly the same in that regard. C++ is a bit better, I guess, in terms of performance. It's a bit closer to the metal, as they say. Then you have to strike a balance between, like, how much time do you want to just spend writing code as opposed to actually getting stuff done. Void Tom will parse result. Yeah, so C is lower level than C++. But they are more or less mutually intelligible. If I remember correctly, the biggest thing that C doesn't have from C++ is references. Well, and of course classes as well. That's usually fine. Okay, I think we can do all of these. Yeah, we can just copy and paste. Copy and paste and then replace all the JSON parse results with TOML parse results, since this is just a wrapper over it. Then for our try catch thing down below, I'll need to actually create one of these on the stack. That when I have money from my visual novel, I want to buy a PC and use Unreal Engine 5. Unreal Engine uses C++. Yeah, that's tough. I mean, it's performance, right? Like, you cannot. Yeah, like, you can write C++ like you do C. So I suppose C++ you cannot get better. You cannot get faster than C++ without going down into assembly code. And even then, you can write raw assembly in C++. And C, I think. I'm not actually sure about C. TOML parse result, and then result instance. Yeah, I know, like, if you can figure out how blueprints work in Unreal Engine, like I've used Unreal before. I wasn't a huge fan. But you know, if you can figure out blueprints, I understand that you can pretty much write your entire game using blueprints, because then the blueprints will generate your C++ code for you. So if you like the drag and drop kind of workflow, so you have, like, you know, this box goes to this box, and then this box goes out to like 3 other boxes, something like that. I think you can. That's blueprints, and from what I understand, that's how you can make it work. It's pretty neat. Oh, I feel like I'm a little old school in that regard. That I prefer to, you know, actually do stuff. Actually touch the code, because you just have it feels like I have more control. Get out of here. TOML parse result. This is now going to be a reference to a TOML parse result. This app, in how many languages did you write it? It's incredible that Mortal Kombat 10 and 11 are still written in Unreal Engine 3. Are they? Really? Are they still written in Unreal Engine 3? That one's pretty old. Really? No way. Mortal Kombat 11 engine. It's Unreal Engine 3? That's crazy. Yeah, I suppose like at this point in time, they've customized it so much that it might be unfair to call it Mortal or Unreal Engine 3. Right? Like the nice part about having access to the source code of an engine, like that's one of the big negatives about Unity. Well, I don't know if it's a big negative. It's one of the negatives. Most people aren't going to be modifying their own engine. Like most people who use Godot don't do what I'm doing. I only do what I'm doing because I don't know when to stop. Are you a femboy? I might be. Ooh. Anyways, here's my chest. No, I'm actually I guess I'm a duck. I'm writing a VTuber program. I'm trying to finish this stuff up. Let me switch to my duck model. There we go. There's the duck. Guess they handle languages in a sickly good way. Money they got. Yeah, they got money. They got money. There's my actual model. But I can be anything you want, baby. I guess. But this model, let's wiggle it. Gotta wiggle it. I don't know why this model kind of freaks out when you first load it in. I guess there's something with the hair that might be positioned improperly on first load. But yeah, no, I don't have any dude models. I should probably just download Vroid Studio and just use the default dude model so I don't catfish people. Like, I joke about doing that, but I really shouldn't. Stay here for the anime girl Amelia. Amelia? Who's Amelia? Is that a reference to 2016 acclaimed anime ReZero? Why do I not have access to this? Or do I need to call set error? Or do I just not have access? How does that work? Or is it because this is defined here? That's not true. Or maybe these are all defined here. How does this work? Are you changing the source code of Godot? Yeah, what's the purpose? I guess check this out. So I implemented TOML parsing. I thought that was pretty neat. So look at this. Wow, it printed, given a string that looks like TOML. So the difference between TOML and INI files are that you can have arrays, you can have nested arrays, you can have this syntax. You can emulate the same thing just by passing everything as a string, and then also, you know, doing some additional parsing on section names, but I don't know. I thought TOMLs would be cool. Anyways, this is not what... I'm not going to be using TOML for configuration, but I thought it'd be cool to have. I thought this would be really quick, but C++ is hard. But yeah, that's not the app. This is the app I'm going to be working on, but we're getting to it. We'll get there when we get there. All right, error is equal to error. Oh, actually, we just have these, right? So error parse error. I think you can do that. And then result. What are the other things? It's error string is equal to error. I guess what? Error what? Oh, and then this needs to be constructed from string. So we'll construct a new Godot string from that, and then also, geez, that's kind of hard to implement. Good luck. Well, I already got it working, unless you're talking about the VTuber thing. Oh, thank you very much, Isadora, or Avale. Still don't really know how to pronounce your name, but hopefully I'm getting closer every time. Location. Hold on. Location. Hold on. Location. Is this a pointer? Oh, thank you very much for the follow, Mike. Avale or Avale? Avale? Is it A or A? Curse you, English. Having multiple pronunciations for the same letter. Second? What was the second one I said? Avale? That's probably close. I apologize. Alright. Location. Source location. Do I have access to these functions? So line, column, region. We'll call it Avale. Much appreciated. So these should be public. So error location. Why aren't you giving me the goods? This should be just on here, protected. But yeah, source location returns LOC. It's alright. I'm used to this. That's why everyone might call me however they like. Nice. You may call me Duck or Tim. Look at that. Let me see. So what I'm doing right now is I'm patching Godot. And then I need to extract the patch and then just redistribute it in its own repository, because I don't actually plan to use this. But I did think it would be fun. Or interesting. Fun is wrong. Line. Okay. So we do all of this stuff. Yeah. Otherwise, we set the results. I don't know. Let's send it. See if it compiles. Quack, quack. Saw your pods right about live 2D bindings for Godot. How well do they work? I got bad news for you. So they're able to load stuff in. Oh, no. They're able to load stuff in. I can open up this one. Live 2D test project. And then show this off. So this is where we're at. I need to work on the shaders. But we're able to load in all parts of the mesh, but like actually tracking stuff is kind of hard. Masking parts of the mesh that we don't want, kind of hard since I'm bad at shaders. But we're almost there, right? So you can see that we're displaying 4 arms pulling off a Kali, or looking a lot like Kali. Or is that Vishnu? Wait, which Hindu god is the one with the many arms? Is it Kali? Or no, it's Vishnu, right? Vishnu has many arms. And also the face is taken up by the back of the head, which is what you're supposed to see once you like turn your live 2D model a bit too far. So I'm working on it. It's tough. It's tough. Look at all this code just to load in a model. Mostly because I didn't want to do it all in Rust. So the Rust thing does all the parsing and all the binary stuff, and then passes it over to Godot. So like, we got the code. I just need to I need to find the time to do it. I will probably have more time if I stop getting so distracted. So Toml C++ 174. I cannot. Oh, okay. So it's a private member declared in class Toml result. Okay. Can imagine Live 2D is kind of a crappy format anyways. Not of its kind yet, except 3D. Yeah, and there's also a Nochi 2D. I suppose that you might be lurking in my Discord server. Maybe. So I guess if you're interested in an open source format, so like I guess a bit of trivia is that on my project, the first issue ever opened is for Anochi 2D support. Yeah, Anochi 2D. I have a pull request open. I'm still working on it. D is a very strange language to write. It reminds me a lot of Java, actually. But I suppose D is probably a bit faster since it's ahead of time compiled. Doesn't require a virtual machine. But I'm working through it. I'm working through it. Too many things, not enough time. Like, I enjoy programming, which is why I'm working on this random stuff right here. But, you know, I have priorities elsewhere. Gotta feed myself, etc. Let me see. So why can't I access this? Or is this something I can just access and then just return as well? Yeah. D all in all is a very cool language. Obviously biased. Found the D. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. It's a very unfortunately named language because you can't say, you know, well, for other language you can say like you're a Python. Well, I suppose saying Python enjoyer is somewhat suggestive. I'm a Java enjoyer, C++ enjoyer. It doesn't really work for the D language, at least in English. But maybe I should get my mind out of the gutter. Let me see. I guess I can do pointer access set results, perhaps. And then this one will be... No, what am I doing? Comment all these out. You're not gonna trick me into saying that on stream. So we'll clip it and take it out of context. I mean, I guess I'm okay with saying that like I'm a D enjoyer, but I'm not gonna say that you're a D enjoyer, you know what I'm saying? Even though I just said it out loud. It's okay. No one will be crazy enough to actually clip something on my streams. Okay. So, I think that's probably okay since those are public methods. And then those are just like accessing stuff. Maybe. Send me. Please. Error. Okay, 183, my favorite part. Hey. Left of dot line must have class struct union. Isn't this exception source location location? Is that not what I... Oh, okay, it's a function, my bad. All right. No, I suppose I am a noted D. Noted D tolerator. I can tolerate a good D. What are we talking about? Okay. Anyways, check this out. This is the wrong project. We'll go into here. Hopefully that compilation thing didn't screw anything up since I was already running the program. Okay, go into Scratch. It's not actually the Scratch language. That's one language I'm not familiar with at all. But here, look at that. Toml GD. How fancy. This is also wrong? Question mark? Hold on. It's wrong. That's not supposed to look like that. This is also not my code. This is my code. Toml. Parse all this stuff. Blah, blah. That should be a ref toml. This gives you back a ref toml parse results. Hey. Toml prints parse results. Yeah. Parse. Hey. Maybe it was because I already had... Oh, it's because there's an error. My bad. What's the error? Is it because it couldn't link? Oh, cannot open file. Yeah, there we go. Let's do it. I'll open source this as well. You can see that I actually have one of my repositories open on my other screen as well. There we go again. Doing the streamer thing and saying the same thing twice. Spout GD. It's a feature that I saw that VC Face actually implemented. And I was like, What if I implement that? Looked into it. There's no spout library for Godot, so I just made my own. It only supports output though, no inputs, but it should be more or less close. All right, toml parse result, and then there's no docs at all. Interesting. Toml parse result. Toml. Yeah, okay, cool. So it doesn't catch anything, but that's more or less fine. So, what is it? If val. That's kind of weird, isn't it? So this should give me a hint at the very least. Oh, you know what? Okay, this is gonna crash. Close it. I see. Bring this back. Oh, hello, Nova. Hello. How are you? Check this out. We're compiling. I almost seg-faulted my program. Because it was... I'm actually not sure. What happens if you do that? Does it seg-fault? If you don't expose it to Godot? Like, it technically exists... Or is it just like a hidden class that you can kind of access from GDScript? Yeah. Like, there's a lot of things that you can poke at in Godot. Yeah, how are you doing, Nova, by the way? There's a lot of things that in Godot that you can poke at that actually are not documented, but they're totally exposed to the user. I'm seeing the... I keep looking back up through the chat and seeing the D-enjoyer. Expose yourself to the user. Oh no. Noted D-enjoyer exposes themselves to the user. Doing the thing I said I wouldn't do. Alright, hold on. So this should be good. So we have this thing, there's no documentation, and then look at that. Look at that. So we have error string. It's a toml parse result, toml GD, so it doesn't conflict with anything. Although I should probably just call it toml at that point, since this should be toml GD parse results. We'll fix that, and then I'll commit it, extract it as a patch, and then yeah, that should be fine. So error string, error line, and then the results. So if val error is not okay, then we'll print out the val, hold on, a little bit of string formatting. So error this thing, new line, or error occurred at line, string formats, and then we'll just print out the entire error. So this is val error line, additional formatting, val error string, because the error string is just the raw string. Otherwise, we'll just print out error results, which will almost always be a dictionary. So, I mean, we'll send it. Error occurred at line -1. That's pretty good. Oh, isn't okay? Oh, okay. That's a bug. I see. I should be returning okay as the result. Ah. I know why this is happening. It's because when I parse, I need to set results, set error as okay. Is okay just here? Yeah. Okay, hold on. Get out of here. I see why. We'll compile one more time. Everyone loves compiling. My favorite time of the day. Error line, yeah. I miss when I used to work on really big Java projects. I had so much time to just read manga during work. Like, what's that XKCD comic where it's like compiling? XKCD compiling. Yeah. Like, it's not like a... Like, this is more true than you would think it is. One of these. What, manga? Oh, no. What manga am I reading right now? I don't know. I'm reading a lot of, like, garbage isekai manga. my favorite one, though. That one that's actually good is So no Freiren. Freiren. To pronounce it in the Japanese style. I suppose Freiren is actually German, though. XKCD can be pretty true sometimes. It is extraordinarily true. Like, it used to take 15 minutes for us to deploy to our dev environment because you had to pass all the tests. And you also had to wait for it to deploy and all that. All right, look at that. So given this TOML file, you can't actually see it because of the duck. My bad. Look at that. You actually cannot see it because also it's too small to see. But you just gotta believe me. Thank you for redeeming a hydrate. Drink 200 ml water. I'm very on edge about drinking water though. Because I used to never use the little ice dispenser or water dispenser on my fridge, mostly because most of my life I had a fridge, but it never had a water dispenser, which might be like a very first world problem. But today I realized, like, oh, my fridge actually has a water dispenser and or ice dispenser. Used it. Turns out there was a bunch of garbage in it. I like cut the crap out of the back of my throat. So I'm like, I'm not using it anymore. But now that whenever I take a drink, I'm like, gotta swish it around a little bit. Need water. Remember 2 liters per day of Coke? Yeah. 2 liters per day of Coke, and then maybe a bit of Coca-Cola on the side. Yeah, look at that. Oh, and actually, it's a pretty dope error line as well. Look at that. Like, I don't think the built-in Godot error handler will tell you, like, where your error is. This is very Rust style, I think. It's very Rust style, where it tells you exactly where the error occurred. Anyways, that's cool. I think it works. We're just gonna send it, I guess. Give this a save. This is just my Scratch project, so it doesn't matter at all. Now here, we'll take this out. Suppose what I should do is rename this to just TOML, so it makes more sense. Or either rename this the TOML GD or rename this the TOML. I think I'm just gonna call this TOML. It's fairly easy to just convert this back or change the name, if you will. Like this one is pretty easy, so just change all occurrences. That's now TOML. Congratulations. Oh, yeah, yeah, that's fine. Give this a really quick compile. I keep forgetting Godot has that terminal thingy. It's pretty sick. It's pretty sick. TOML GD undeclared identifier registered types. Oh, registered types. Right. So TOML. Yeah, that's probably fine. What's the terminal thingy you're referring to in Godot? Is it just the lower status bar, or is it the external bar that shows up whenever you run it on Windows? We're waiting. Oh, waiting for it. All right, there we go. Run it one more time just to make sure. You know what? I think I might just include this as part of my standard build. I do like parsing TOML. There we go. There is your TOML. Beautiful. Beautiful. And then you can also do TOML prints. So this actually works how... This works like how JSON works in Godot 4. So in Godot 3, JSON is a singleton, but I've always found that to be kind of weird because you never need JSON all that much, except at like the start and end of your program. I'm at the Godot engine terminal output window that opens at the same time. Minimize it out of habit. I like looking at it. It makes you feel more secure. So I feel like I can never really trust what's coming out of the built-in terminal thing. All right, send me one more time. There we go. Look at that. Everyone loves a good TOML. All right, so close this. I'm gonna use this as my standard build against my better judgments. So we'll go into here, copy the name of this, delete it. Go into here. There we go. And then we'll start working on stuff really quick. So 3.x Godot custom. What I need to do, I need to extract some of these. Well, I need to commit it and then extract the patch. Okay, so let's see. Git commit get patch. Get commit patch. Yes. How do I generate a git patch for a specific commit? I never remember how to do this. If I see you in an hour, yeah. I'll still be here in an hour. Don't you worry. I'll be here for however long my interest lasts. Apply the patch with this command. Absolutely not. Git format patch. L SHA. Okay. So for third-party TOML, probably don't want to include that, but we can extract the patch. Hold on. Where do I get the patch from? Does it just print to standard out? Okay. And I also don't want to include third-party TOML, because that's not really what she wants. You know what? Okay, let's just create a new repository. So this will just be TOML or Godot TOML. We'll extract it manually, and then I'll create a patch for my own commits, I suppose. Or actually, what I could do, don't know what I'm doing this visually, by the way. Godot TOML. What I could do, let's go to dev. Actually, I have this in my quick bar. Godot, we'll just extract it manually. So this is modules. I call this TOML GD. Godot TOML. Yeah, more or less slap that in there. So modules. You'll need my own code. Or there's my own code. You won't need my own code. And then third party will also need to be here. I suppose what should happen is I really should do a I git submodule here. So it's more or less up to date. Which version did I grab, by the way? I think I still have this on my file system. Bring it back here. So this is Toru Nina. Pretty sure they're Japanese. Oh, I pulled it from master. Should I not do that? I guess it's probably fine. Yeah, March 16th. It's mostly just doc updates. Yeah, that's probably fine. March 16th, tests, fix. Everyone loves some good fixes. Add escape sequence of escape. Yeah, that's probably fine. It's probably fine. Yeah, actually, nothing needs to be patched. Like, there are no patches. It's really just my own code, right? So, yeah, I think this is fine to just git commit, right? So git add, or first we need to add. So modules and then third party. Everything else I should not be committing. Those are just my own local scripts. And also don't add the CA cert. Add TOML parsing. So I'll push that to my own repo. Did I accidentally rebase at any points? I might have. All right, what the heck? What is this? So add redirect singleton, blah, blah. What am I doing? Godot. Where's my Godot? There's my Godot. 3x custom. Seems fine to me. I don't know. Oh, is it because I rebased recently? That it might be because I rebased recently as well. So git log p. So this is pretty easy. Oh no, actually, never mind. This is gonna take forever. Can't you git log on a specific commit? Git log. Grab all of this. Git log p. This stuff. Yeah. Seems okay. Oh no, get out of here. Oh, just send it, dude. Push it. I suppose I'll also need to build normal template. Build normal template. It's gonna take a little bit. I think I might drop a few frames as well, since I forgot that building a normal template. Building a normal template, I also enabled LTO, and it's using 8 threads. Luckily, I have 32 threads, I think. Yeah, there's the linker. And then LTO is running now. Generating code. Very good. Godot TOML. Alright, so let's copy over. Open cface gd git ignore here. It's taking a little bit. 2 minutes, 14 seconds remaining. Oh, we're going up to 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Oh, 4 minutes. All right. Hopefully my stream doesn't crash. I'm getting nervous. Time's moving backwards. Yeah. It's okay. We're time traveling. Look at it go. My favorite part about any like loading bar thing is like when you're looking at the terminal loading icon and they're not actually using a loading icon, they're just kind of wiggling around the // and pipe symbol. I don't know why. It just the image of it freaking out makes me laugh every time. All right, so Godot TOML. A Godot 3.4 module that adds TOML parsing using the, what is this called? TOML 11 library. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And then this should, how do you add a git submodule? Finish generating code. Haven't dropped any frames yet, that's a good sign. What's the thing you can use to simulate the progress bar? Is it just progress? I don't remember. I don't remember. There's tons of ways that you can do it. I know, isn't it? It's progress when you're on apt, right? So if you want to see a progress bar on apt, you can, or no, apt already comes with a progress bar, right? Never mind. Are you talking about like a system command? So you like pipe output into progress? Is that a thing? I feel like I've seen that before. I don't have it. Yeah, apt has progress bar, but apt-get doesn't. Yeah, well, apt-get is a porcelain command that everyone just seems to use for whatever reason. It's the same as like the porcelain commands for gits, but no one ever uses the git porcelain commands. So you can pipe output and get a progress bar. Yeah. I feel like I've seen that before. Git submodule add. Get SCM. Just give me the Atlassian one. I'm very used to no progress bar. I'm used to just if I don't have a progress bar, I have an excuse to like come back late. Oh, sorry, there was no progress bar. I had no idea. All right, so this is git submodule add this thing. All right, then I'll need to update the README. So hit him with a quick start. Quick start. So 1. Update the git submodules if you didn't clone the repo recursively. Copy the folder in. Copy the, what did I call it? Toml GD. Toml GD. Folder in. Copy the, hold on, modules. Toml GD. To the Godot's module. Copy the, what is it called? Toml 11. The Toml 11. Toml, yeah. Toml 11 Toml. To a directory called to Godot's third, and also hold on, Godot's module directory and Godot's third party Toml creates it if it does not exist. Creates the directory, sorry. Gotta remember, in technical writing, you gotta try to avoid using like context sensitive wording. Directory does not exist. Yeah, I think you just build it at that point, right? Build the engine. Yeah, there we go. That's pretty much it. Git status. There's some modules. Git toml. Yeah, then we delete all of these from Godot toml because I should not be redistributing that. And actually, yeah, just take out the third-party thing entirely. There we go. I think that seems pretty good. And I even have my license in there as well. So we can look at license open with Notepad++, my favorite one. There we go. It's actually somewhat out of date. Copyright 2022, Timothy Yuan. All right, send me. Git add. Push you. Oh, I don't have an origin. So git remote add origin. I'll create my own thingy. Call this Godot toml. I don't know why I even decided to do this, considering that I'm not a huge fan of toml in the first place. Git add origin. There we go. Git push. You origin master. Master. Oh, is this MIT? Oh my god. I messed up. Okay. I mean, that's fine. We can redistribute it under MIT. That's fine. Alright. Good enough. Toml GD. I accidentally added the pi cache into it. Oh my god. I'm dumb. Amateur hour. Oh, it's PV. Is PV available? PV not available here. I might have PV. Oh, XFNW, sorry. Don't look at it. Don't look at my shame. I blame previous me for not adding that to my git ignore by default. Also, XFNW. Did you figure out your model stuff? I remember your name from Discord. Or do you require me to look into that further? Yeah, actually, what is it called? It's called pi cache. Echo pi cache. All right, and then what we can do is just okay. I don't know how to do the git submodule thing without just yeeting everything. It's working, I think. Nice. rmrf toml rm git submodule git modules rmrf dot git init git submodule add. There we go. Git commit. Hold on. We're doing stuff. I should really learn how to do git submodules a lot better, but you know, we have stuff to do. All right, just yeet it. Boom. Look at that. So, the object files are still there. Amateur hour. All right, I'm tilted. I'm tilted from having to figure out this C++ stuff. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking with it. All right, so dots or ** dots obj. What other in-between files do I need to look out for? Or is it really only for this one? rmrf git what? Git modules. So rmrf git modules, and then also toml 11. We'll do the same thing over again. That's fine. One more time. Once more with feeling. So git init git submodule add this thing git. Then we'll go back to here. Remote add origin git add git commit init git push you origin master force. Send me one more time. All right, I think it looks okay. So all you need to do is follow the instructions. So you do the you pull it recursively You copy TOML11 into the third-party thingy. I guess TOML8 header ++ is not really my file, but that's fine. It's just a bunch of includes. And then everything else should just work. Yeah. Look at that. That wasn't so painful. It only took me like an hour. Let me see. What was the last command? That build normal template. So go back to Godot. I think I should probably pin this to my quick access since I seem to work with Godot pretty often for whatever reason. I'll put it here. Godot. Bin. There we go. Go back to dev. I keep all my release templates here. So this is Godot custom 3x. There we go. So I should never try to run that. I think I can just run it by itself and then it won't do anything, which is always kind of nice. Yeah, I guess if you're working with tools, by the way, I think this is probably a good command for compiling like purely graphical tools. Might be kind of nice to have, you know, if anyone's interested. If anyone's out there. Yeah, let's get out of here. I think the TOML stuff, pretty sick. Should just work. We can get out of here. And we'll go back to OpenCPHGD. Yeah, so let's get started. We're just working on UI stuff for forever. I'm trapped in UI heck, UI hell. So there we go. I think that looks pretty good. So these are all the bones for the duck model. What I should probably start doing now is start working on like hooking everything up. Yeah, let's start hooking everything up. Because these are the two out of three of the most important things to be working on right now in terms of UI stuff. So base tree pop-up layout. All right, so stop printing. I figured out what my error was. I had a brain blast like in the middle of the night yesterday. And by middle of the night, I mean like at 3 a.m. I woke up and I was like, wait a minute. I got it. I know what I was doing wrong last time. And you know, since I was already awake, might as well. Yeah. So it used to be that when you selected one of these, you couldn't see, all you saw was the root object. But now you can, you know, you look at all of the stuff. How nice. And these map 1-to-1 back to the bones, which is why they're not actually capitalized. Right, because this is what I call them in Blender. So you can see we can select them, they store state, etc. How nice. Yeah, I think it looks pretty good. And also I worked on this as well. Look at that. So these are all the extensions that are currently enabled or currently detected. I don't really know how to make this look any better. But the idea with doing it, displaying things like this, is that you can actually, in each extension, you can have multiple extension objects per category. So if we go over to OpenCPHGD, did I get a new star? I've been looking at it. Please, I want to get the 500 so I can start bragging to people. No, I actually found out that my company does support Godot as like a demo tool. I've been thinking about how do I present myself so I can break into that part of my company. It's kind of bizarre though. It's one of the few. It's one of the few like super big companies that still tries to maintain a startup culture, if only because it is very Linux centric. All right, but hold on, what was I looking at here? Probably these extensions. Yeah. So here you can have a runner, a puppet, a tracker, GUIs, and then plugins, where plugins are just kind of your catch-all. But then you can also, you know, click on stuff like this. Look at that. Wow. You can show in file system. It'll pop up a window. That'll show you exactly where it's reading it from. How nice. And so for VRM, we have two extensions, VRM and VRM model. So VRM, I actually don't remember what the what that was configured to be, but yeah, we won't worry about it too much. All I know is that it works and we don't question it. I'm pretty sure these are just INI files. Yeah, these are just INI files, so they're parsed, but they're not actually used. And the settings and about, so we'll get to that. So I can also demonstrate that this works for, look at that, bones. Look at all these bones. So compared to how this works for VRM models, I'm not going to load in the Alicia model. Probably should though, because that's what's currently loaded, so it maps back a lot easier. Something doesn't seem right about the eyes. Something doesn't seem right here. Don't know. We'll figure it out. But here, you can see that this is pretty ugly. I don't really know how else to, like, I don't know. If anyone in chat has any ideas. Like, this seems okay to me, personally. But I think being this deeply nested might be a bit concerning to some people. But I don't know. Like, I'm not going to rename anything. That's not my place to rename stuff. I think this is kind of cool and how you're able... In theory, you should be able to manipulate these values. And, you know, there's interpolation rate. Not quite implemented yet. We're getting there. Yeah. But I'm... Another thing that's a little concerning to me is also the fact that this is actually generated on the fly. So if you press bones many times, it generates a new copy of this every time. So that might not be the best way of doing it. In theory, these should all be synced to one another though, so there's no risk of them becoming out of sync, but still. Let's think about it. Let's think about it. Don't close this. So in, all right, that's fine. We can leave this open. I wish there was an option to have this as a floating window, but I don't really know how to do that. Yeah, like, isn't it in JetBrains you can have a floating window? Yeah. It's been a bit. Let me see. I think each of these needs to have probably like another function, which is like set up connections. Yeah. Or like handle connections probably, or initialize connections. We'll call it init connections. See if I have any documentation on that. It's been a little bit. So high-level architecture. Good thing I wrote some notes so that hopefully I could prevent myself from being too confused. So configuration, we have metadata and model config. And there's also the manager singletons. Oh no. Good job, me. Good job, me. Not enough information to really tell me what I was thinking at the time. Which means I'll need to now go into model config. We'll see. And something that's also been bothering me is I haven't been updating the tests. I should really update the tests. Let me see, launch tracker. Like, this probably also needs to go away. So to do, this is open, this is specific to OpenC face. All these to-dos are going to be the same, right? These are very, very specific to OpenC face. Nope, we don't need to worry about. So model, these are like the bones that are tracked. So additional bones, so it's bone ID, which is an integer. This part is one of the ones that it's existed since like the start of the program, so I try not to touch it too much. But now that I'm going back to it, I need to wonder if this is the best way of doing stuff. It's also a bit concerning I didn't leave any note for myself. So these are the additional bones to be tracked. Bone transforms. Bone pose positions. So these are bone IDs to bone transforms. So additional bones to be tracked, and then there's also just additional bone transforms. So the difference between those things are... Am I able to wiggle this? Hold on. I'm posing it. I guess this model's bust isn't posable. Maybe it is. Maybe there's an additional bone, but I'm not sure what it looks like. Anyways, get this off the screen. It's very degenerate. Yeah, so I can wiggle these around if I want. Let's move this shoulder up a bit. Wiggle this down a bit. Looking very natural. Very natty. But yeah. Anything that's marked as tracked should fall under additional bones. Should probably change that so it's a bit more verbose. And then bone transforms refers to like the bone pose positions. I don't think anything is using this right now, so maybe it's okay to just change it. No, never mind. Wait, maybe it's fine. Additional bones. I'm happy with my current number of bones though. Are you saying you would not like to have additional bones grafted onto you? Please take your anti-biopunk rhetoric out of here. It's not appreciated. I would like myself to have an additional pair of arms myself. Wouldn't it be cool to have like another eye? maybe like someone with an additional eye, someone with 3 eyes could chime in, but I don't know. I think that'd be kind of cool. No more bones, too many bones. Or would you only like to have just like one big bone? So you're like a weird slug. So you only have the one spine bone and everything else is just like, you know? Maybe that would also be good. It's something I've never really thought about. Like, what if, like, instead of like adding more bones to you, what if you just became like a slug person? That could be cool. I don't know if it's like good for you, but I'm not in a position to say what's good or bad for a specific person. If you want to be a slug person, it's really up to you. You know, I actually saw a post on Reddit about someone feeding their snails. I was like, wow, that's actually pretty cool. Also a little like terrifying, because they just kind of eat things, and when they eat things, they just kind of shove it straight into their face, and you can see it stick out of the back of their head. I'm like, wow, that's freaky. It's kind of freaking me out. You know, if you could be like as fluid like as a cat, maybe, perhaps. Wouldn't you also need to lose, or maybe not lose, but like grow out your natural hair coating? Like, isn't it like the The reason why cats look like they're so fluid is because they're not actually as big as they look. Like they're actually mostly just like a big ball of fur for the most part. So they're actually a lot more lanky than they first appear. Or is that not true? So if you could be as fluid-like as a cat, but you also had to be as hairy as a cat, would you take it? I'd be happy being a ball of fur, fluff, floofy. I know there's one thing I can do here. That the reason why I'm just looking at this is I remember I had a thing to interface with this without doing anything fancy here. Save to file. Register. Is there a register? Set data, get data. There was a thing I needed to do here. I don't quite remember though. Is it in the pub sub? So init, I don't think I need to have it. Oh, actually no, you do need to have init, otherwise the base init function doesn't ever get called, which is kind of weird in Godot terms. But I remember I needed to do this, otherwise these messaging formats would not initialize properly. Yeah. Hold on, I'm thinking. The gears in the old brain are turning. Might need to replace the hamster at some point though. Gears don't turn as fast as they used to. So register. Wrapper for subscribing an object to the pub sub. So I don't think we need to create any signals. Maybe. Hold on, I had a plan in here somewhere. So I remember. So if you look back at my old refactor stuff. If we look back at my old refactor stuff. So config manager. When did I last make a change to pub sub? Pub sub has been a while. Oh man, March 7th. What day is it? The 21st? Oh no. Oh no. It's been a month. It's been more than a month. What was I thinking here? By create signal, one of the only methods that does not have like a good explanation. Like everything else is pretty obvious, right? Everything else is pretty obvious, but create signal, what was I thinking here? Like create signal obviously creates a signal, but why would I want to do that? Do these create signals? So when we load in one of these things, is there a call to pub sub create signal? So this is one of the prime demonstrations of why you should write good documentation. Register all configs of pub sub. Register config data with pub sub. Yeah. Register config data with. Yeah, there we go. Create signal, and then we create all of these things in the pub sub, and then we can subscribe to these pieces of data. Yes. So we can subscribe to every single update if we want, and then just selectively. Ah, I remember. So yeah, this is you could write a case study about this. Why good documentation is good. Is once you have written something and you go back to it a month later, you're 100% not going to remember how it works. Okay. So in Bones, in the setup function, what we'll need to do is look for things to connect to. Model config. We can look for additional bones. And so once any of those get updated, So we want to register 4 additional bones. Yeah. But then how do these get updated? And then I'll also need to, because these need to be emitted from my side as well. So bone display needs to bone display is actually what needs to connect. So bones has a bone display per bone. Might have guessed that. So if we go into default runner, right, the idea here is that this is just the info page. This is just a read-only view of all the bones that may be tracked. Anything that's, yeah, all the bones are currently tracked, and then if they have a non-default interpolation rate. So for example, in this current program, there's only a global interpolation rate for every single bone, which is usually fine, but you know, I think some people prefer to have a bit more control over their program, which is what the interpolation rate is nice for. Get me out of here. So if we go into kill the program. So we will always have access to the pub sub, because pub sub is it's not even a child, it's just a property that's on our app manager. App manager is our singleton manager, essentially. Basically our singleton to rule all singletons, which is a pattern I find myself liking more and more the older I get. Because you just need to look in one place and you know how everything works. I'm thinking about it. So we have init connections. It doesn't do anything. Init connections, that's fine. And we'll just call it like that. You don't want to override the ready function in any of these things, because these built-in functions are always called no matter what. So even if you are overriding it, it will always call the super one and then your subclass ready function. It's a common mistake to make. I've made it a few times myself. What's better to do is to use this pattern. So you have like a setup function and an init connections, and then you just override these functions instead, and then just don't ever override ready, right? So these will not be called twice. They'll just use the overridden version, or they'll use the overridden version plus the super version if you call the super version. So it works like a normal programming language in that regard. So we'll want to set up and then do the init connections stuff, but I'm not sure if I have the ability to call that on bone display, because we do need to set this stuff up. So we can set up a few signals here. So signal. So we have a tracking button. So set tracked set, and state. I think that's fair. Signal, or should track set, should pose set, and then interpolation rate set. It's better to be verbose, in my opinion, than not verbose enough. Especially for variable names, because comments can make up for like really short variable names. But the problem with comments is that if you ever change the variable name, you also need to make sure to change the variable's comment. Whereas if you just make the variable name really verbose, then you just change the variable name, right? The variable name is self-documenting, essentially. And so following style conventions for a GD script, signal names should be past tense. There's not really a past tense, like ed past tense for sets. It's one of those weird, it's one of the many weird exceptions that English has. So you will set things, you did set a thing, I suppose you are setting a thing. I will set, I have set, I did set. There's only the continuous conjugation, which is kind of weird. Something I've never really considered. It's similar in how sit works. So you are going to sit, I am sitting, but I did sit over there. Yeah, that's weird. Sit and set follow the same conjugation rule. I never thought about that. So these are okay. We'll need to set these values to omit, and then we'll connect everything appropriately, I suppose. So we'll forward along these connections, essentially. So on is tracking toggled state on should pose toggled and then the last one, which is on interpolation rate set, which is some sort of rate. We'll just call it rate instead of value for my own sanity. It will always be a float, and we can always change that later since everything is pretty compartmentalized. Okay, so it should set, or it should track set. So it should, or is tracking set, sorry, is tracking set. Is tracking set. And then this one is should pose set. Yeah. So omit signal is tracking set with the state. Emit signal should pose set. And then emit signal. What did I call it? Interpolation rate sets. I mean, that feels pretty good. Feels pretty good. These are the 3 things that we have. Yeah. Let's also add a doc string to the very top so I don't forget. So represents the configuration data for a bone for one bone for a given model. Yes. Beautiful. So these are the 3 things that we can configure. There's the is tracking button, whether or not to apply tracking data to the bone. This is whether or not to consider user inputs as bone pose input. And then this is the interpolation rate to use when applying tracking data. Oh, and you know what? I just realized I need to have another one. So we need to have like should use custom interpolation. Oh, good. So this will be a check button. That's not too hard. This is self-explanatory. When tracking the bone, whether or not to use the global interpolation rate. There we go. Okay, so interpolation rate, blah, blah. Interpolation rate, that is a new check button. Interpolation rates, blah. Okay, so this can just be a regular check button. So, should use custom interpolation. .text. Use custom interpolation. Then options, list, add child. Should use custom interpolation. Yeah, okay. So run me one more time, just to make sure. Nothing is really hooked up just yet. Yeah, use custom interpolation and then interpolation rate. So if you don't have this set, then interpolation rate will just not do anything at all, which is expected. If you do have this set, then it will use the interpolation rate that you set here. I will need to provide a default, which is probably just going to be 1.0. Thing about the parody anime is that most of the characters have the same hair color, unlike animes that have weird hair colors. So all characters just have like brown hair. Is that what you're saying? Isn't that kind of like what Attack on Titan is? That may or may not be spoilers. I don't think it's spoilers since you see that most everyone just has like European style hair colors, except for Mikasa, who you might have guessed is probably not of European descent. Black hair? Yeah. Yeah. Right. But this menu looks pretty good. Yeah. You know, I'll be right back. I really need to use the restroom. The coffee's starting to hit me again. Second wave, as bad as the first BRB. Hello, I'm back. Anime. I still need to update my bot. Help. Send help. What's the current bot's uptime? It's been up for 20 hours. Look at that. Usually a bot is only able to stay up for like about 4 hours before the container it's on restarts. Because I have it deployed. It's not my own container cluster. Or it's not my own Kubernetes cluster. So whoever runs it, because I pay like, was it $5 a month to deploy, I think it's 8 containers. I can have 8. No, it's 4 containers. I need to pay a bit more if I want 8 containers. But I pay for container space essentially, not even server space. I pay for container space on a cluster for like $5 a month. One of the stipulations is like, sometimes we just need to restart the cluster. I'm like, yeah, I get it. I get it. One of these days I need to hook it up to my own personal server. I mean, my own personal server is not my own like bare metal server. It's still like a virtual server, but at the very least it only restarts like once a month. Anime. Help. Yeah. Help is broken. Yeah. If you can guess from the title, that's the actual command to use. Tilde, not a great command to use because sometimes people will be like, you know, like tilde, hello, like that, and that's technically a valid thing to say. I've seen people do that. Let me see. Should use custom interpolation. Should use custom interpolation set state help uwu. Yeah. Uwu. It's a shame this one doesn't have an uwu face. All I have is the XD face. XD. Remember when XD was popular? Do people still use XD in more or less normal conversation? Or is that just like a MapleStory thing? Man, I miss playing MapleStory. Like old school MapleStory in any case. Now DX is popular. DX. It's my favorite Pokemon trading card series. Pokemon Gales of Darkness DX. Deluxe. MapleStory was rad. MapleStory was rad. MapleStory is more or less still kind of rad. I remember it. That's like a huge nostalgia goggles though. I don't know. I feel like I played it like 3 or 4 years ago, and I was like, you know what? Like even like post Big Bang MapleStory, it's more viable as a solo game, I guess. Whereas like all the way back when I was in middle school, you know, you had to party up. What was it called? Kerning City? Yeah, Kerning City. You just had to sit there for forever, hitting with like a looking for a party. Please party quest with me. Good times. Good times. Trade MapleStory Toa is still a thing. It seemed pretty fun. Shame it fizzles. Yeah, I also tried MapleStory 2, but MapleStory 2 would seem more like just like your standard 3D action game with like really aggressive cash shot mechanics. No, I feel like the main draw of MapleStory original. Oh no, that's a very cursed XD. Small X big D. Sounds like me and your mom last night. Anyways, wasn't like the main draw of like mainline MapleStory was like the pixel art. It looks pretty good. Yeah. Like whether it was like hiddenstory.net and then or secret story or whatever, and you could create your own MapleStory characters because someone had data mined all the possible combinations. Oh man. Middle school was a different day. Or a different time. Definitely a different time. So is tracking button. So is tracking button. Connect. So there should be a toggled. So on is, what is it called? On is tracking toggled. do this for all of these things as well. Should pose button. Toggle itself. All this good stuff. This one should use custom interpolation. Every 7 seconds a man dies in Detroit. Well, maybe you should stop time and then you would actually save a few lives. Have you considered doing that? Not all of us can be Time Lords. Or Lordesses. What's the girl version of Lord? Is it Count? No, there's Count and Countess. Lord and Lordess? I don't know. I don't know why I just thought of that, but Lady? Is it Lady? Lady and Lord? Yeah, that sounds about right. Lady. My lord, my lady. Oh yeah, that's where it comes from, yeah. Tips for Dora. You're welcome, my lady. My lord. Are fedoras back in style? Not saying that they were ever in style. It's a bit too risque for me. I was more of just like, at most I would wear a flannel. I was more of a flannel kind of lad. Okay, so this should be, there's a few things we should have. So text entered. So you need to press enter, otherwise we won't accept it, I suppose. So self, boom, on interpolation rate set. Yeah, but I think lady is correct. Oh, you know what? I didn't start tracking my time. I gotta track my time. And also remember never to show it to any of my bosses so they don't know how much time I'm actually putting into work. All right, there we go. French Persian, definitely not called Godot. Godot. One of my biggest pet peeves is whenever anyone ever calls it Godot. So please don't call it Godot. It like hurts me on a physical level. All right, so how did I do this before? So we go back to OpenCFace GD, master branch, screens, GUI, elements, base elements. So I remember there's one thing I did that was kind of fancy for input stuff. So on text changed, Godot should be the correct pronunciation. No. Prepare yourself for a 24-hour ban permanently. Godot. Like, isn't it like girl or Gal Gadot? Isn't that how you pronounce her name as well? Yeah. Oh, that's Gal Gadot. Gal Gadot. Godot. Hobo. Alright, so isn't there like a debounce time? Okay, so these also have all of their own built-in debounce timers. Maybe I should I sync up every single debounce timer? I'm considering it. Or like, yeah, maybe I should have like a global debounce singleton, aka like a debounce manager, or does the app manager take care of its own debouncing? Oh yeah, the app manager does take care of its own debounce. Interesting. Okay, yeah, I can do that. I can do that. So if we have a debounce thing to debounce off of, what we can do is this. So interpolation rate connect text changed self on interpolation rate changed. It's a bit different. Chaged changed Godot. Godot. I like that one. Godot. Doot. Thank Mr. Skeletal for healthy bones. So is this this version is the this is the version RTM Gold. What's RTM Gold? Read the manual. Gold. Rare Triceratops manure. Risky tarantulas munching. Or ravacious tarantulas munching. That's a good word. Ravacious. Ravenous. Is ravacious a word? Ravacious. It is. No, that rapacious is a word. Never mind. I got that wrong. I thought I was smart, but that's not actually true. Rapacious, not ravacious. The phase that follows beta? Really? What's RTM software meaning? Release to manufacturing. Oh, going gold. I know going gold. Release to art. Okay, cool. Suppose I should know this since this is one of the things I studied in school. Yeah, I know GA, I know. RTM, I'm not familiar with. RTW, I'm also not familiar with. Ready to manufacture, yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's a release candidate, shall we say. JavaScript. Look at that. Look at that emote, shush. How about this emote? This is one of my favorite ones to hit you with. It's not even my emote, but I do like the multi-part emotes. Look at that. Oh, I realized I got this wrong. There we go. There we go. So, interpolation rate changed. This will take in some sort of text string. Text string. Long. Yeah, it's a very long boy. I like the multi-part emotes, even though they're kind of hard to get working. Yeah. It's a good old Northern line. Like, do you have those kind of streamers? I'm not sure like if this is a young person thing or not. I say that as if I'm not a young person, but because I am still in my 20s, so I think I still count. Although I am starting to almost about to enter my late 20s. But yeah, there we go. You are a young person? I think I'm a young person. You know, as I said, I'm in my 20s. You're younger than me? Yeah, there we go. I'm not in my late 20s yet. I'm about to be in my late 20s. Hopefully not too quick. You know, I've said this enough times. I correct myself preemptively, but I am academically I was very, very young. Probably should have been held back in school actually. Because it's like the year after I took any class, it's like oh, now it makes sense. Like the first time I took calculus, I was like, I have no idea what I'm looking at. The next year I was like, this all makes sense. 100%. Easy. You know? "19 years here, you know, gotta love some barely equals." No. Scratch that. Why did I say that? I have come from the lurketh. Welcome back, Rot Björn, or welcome from the lurk. You missed the part when I was writing C++, so I can really flex my ability to write weird computer science code. Yeah, I remember when I used to be 19 years old. Those are weird times. Yeah, I suppose if you want to know a rough estimate of how old I am, I think I only turned 21. So 21 is the legal age for drinking. I only turned 21 in like my second semester of senior year. Or was it like my regular semester of senior year? I forget. I'm bad at dates and all that other good stuff. So maybe App Manager should actually omit like a debounce time. Or maybe we can do, oh yeah, we can do a check here. I don't need to track the debounce time here. I can just use the App Manager's built-in debouncer. Why weird? C++ is too confusing to me. So many keywords and intricacies. In Argentina, everyone drinks and smokes at 17. I don't remember what the smoking age is in the US. I remember I did, unfortunately, pick up smoking because of several factors, though, during school. But yeah. I suppose if you want to look at what I was doing for like the first hour of the stream, check this out. I made another repository. I have 124 repositories, a very normal amount. Look at this. Godot TOML. It's a Godot module that allows for parsing TOML files. Everyone loves a good TOML file. Godot 3.4, probably X module for TOML parsing. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I wish I was better at C++, because I feel like I would understand so much more about programming, or I would be able to contribute to so many more projects if I just knew C++. But unfortunately. Are Godot modules used for extending the editor of the game? Yes, for both of them. For both. So check this out. So normally, Godot cannot parse TOML things. So Godot can parse INI files. So this is a valid INI field, but this is not. But if we run this code here, so this is just an inline file. I strip the edges. So we take out this tab and this new line, right? Look at that. We can run it. Nothing displays, but there we go. There's, title, TOML example, owner. Everything gets converted into a map, a hash map. Basically a dictionary in Godot terms. So then server, IP, ports, which is an array, server.alpha, which is an inner dictionary, all that good stuff. So, but they can also be used for extending the editor, but most people don't do that. I think if you're writing an editor extension, you would usually want to write it like this, just using, so this is Friendly Potato. So I wrote a built-in pixel art editor as well. I think it's the best one, honestly, but no one uses it because it doesn't have a fancy graphic attached to it. Will this show us your 3D skills when Godot 4 comes out? Oh, absolutely not. I'm not kind of garbage at. I'm pretty garbage at 3D. This is pretty much the extent of my 3D abilities, which is the duck. So if you like chunky pixel arts, low poly stuff, I can do that. If you want anything more advanced than that, I got bad news for you. Let me see. Anyways, we're back to the duck. Bar should save. Low poly ducks for sale. Well, lucky for you, this one's for sale for $0 US. So, like, if you want to use it, you are free to use it. I have the original Blender file somewhere. Don't know where, but I'm sure I can find it again. Should save is equal to false. So if Yep, should save. Super Mario 64, 64 graphics, $0 and taxes. Yeah, well, you know, it's 100% tax, but 100% times 0 is 0. Or no, actually, 100% of 0. No, 100% of 0 is still 0, right? Because that's 1 times 0, 1 times 0 is 0. It's only if you're dividing it, it becomes infinite. Yeah. One thing that is... Here's a hot take. Here's a hot take. So you know how you always learn in mathematics that... I was going to bring up the calculator, but I'm not going to do that. You know in mathematics you always hear that like 1 times... Or 0 times anything is always 0, but anything divided by 0 is infinity. So I actually have my own way of memorizing that, right? Yeah, divided by 0 should be undefined because 0 can go into anything an infinite amount of times. Right? Because you can take nothing out of something an infinite amount of times because you're never taking anything out of it. So you'll keep dividing it by nothing for forever, essentially. Until the heat death of the universe. Whereas if you try to multiply something by 0, all you gotta do is do nothing. So you'd be left with 0. Now that I know that, I realize that's not what most people learn in school. But actually, what most people learn in school is just remembering. You just gotta memorize. You just need to memorize, like, 0 times anything is 0. Anything divided by 0 is infinity. And there's no explanation for that. Every day is a school day. Tax evasion. Well, I mean, I'm not taking any money from you. I mean, if you want to throw money at me, you know, I've been convinced by my father to set up a coffee, and Libra pay. If only because like soliciting donations through other means is like sketchy. And by other means, it's really only like Twitch Prime. By the way, don't feel pressured to do any of that. I don't need your money. I very explicitly do not accept money for this project, or any of my projects, really. Because I do not want to be indebted or be required to do anything, right? Emit events. This is base elements, but app manager has this. Save conf... Okay, so this is like save config. I guess we should have like a debounced. So signal debounced. Oh, thank you very much, Kalame321. Thank you very much for the raid. Much appreciated. What were you doing on your stream if you were around? Maybe I'll ask again in a few minutes or a few seconds. Oh, hello. I'll Capone be like that. So if I subscribe, I won't be added to the credits? Unfortunately, no. The only people added to the credits, which you can find here in resources. By the way, what were you doing, Kalame? I was playing around in Godot 4. Oh, baby. Yeah, the credits here, extra credits if you like contribute, I suppose anything. But hello. Godot 4, pretty sick. Not quite stable enough for what I need it for, which is, I don't know, most things. Like the thing that I tunnel most on in Godot 4 is the GD script stuff. Should save. The hello Fantoser. The Pro Godot 4 stable version. Maybe one of these days. And maybe one of these days when I stop making edits to just Godot by itself. So I did show this off earlier. I did just write a TOML module for Godot. Check that out. Contributing money. Yeah, I suppose that is a form of contribution. But I don't want to... I don't accept contributions for any one project. I'm sorry. I reserve the right to just drop any project at any time, unfortunately. Except for this one, I suppose. OpenCFace GD. Because I have committed to it internally. In my heart of hearts. I wanted to at least finish this one. What is TOML? This is Tom's Obvious Markup Language. So it's basically a better INI file. And in my opinion, it's also a better, it's better for configuration instead of JSON. So JSON is like what everyone uses. YAML is what some other people use. So if you use a lot of Ruby or you write a lot of Python, there's also a lot of, those languages tend to use YAML. YAML kind of sucks. One of the worst ones. IMO. If you like YAML, you're entitled to your own opinion. The INI fork that no one knew before Rust. Oh, I see. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. You're definitely not wrong. Definitely not wrong. I don't know. I mean, so like to show it off. So we'll open up another build on my custom build. So we go into our Scratch. So, I mean, which one's easier to read, right? Is like, this one's pretty obvious. You just have the key, you have a section owner. There's my name, Tim. Server dot whatever. Arrays. Run it. And then you're given something like this. So I convert it into a dictionary, aka something that looks a lot like JSON anyways. But which one is easier to read? This one or this one? You know? I think TOML is easier to read than JSON. Because you don't need all of the, you know, you don't need all of the parentheses, you don't need all of the brackets. Everything is just, you know, organized how you would expect it to be organized. Goodbye, router. Yeah, please don't dox me by my IP address. You know, by the way, my computer is located at localhost. Please no hack. And also, please do not dox my clients Delta and Gamma. They're very important to me. But what I'm working on, I don't think I explained that to the raiders. I'm working on a refactor of this program here, so I can maybe show that off. Look at that. So it looks a lot like this, but the UI is a lot better. We have this stuff. This might break. Oh, yeah, it didn't break yet. Look at that. So you can have all of these things. You can just hide them, whatever. So these are little mini windows that you can just keep open. Look at that. They're also reactive. Everyone loves reactive windows. You could have multiple of the same window open. How nice. Yeah. So you have duck in green and duck not in green. Hacking to your local hosts. Yeah, hacking into your local hosts. Filing all your taxes for you. Eating all my cereal, etc., etc. Yeah. But basically, I just need to implement the green screen again for this into this. So this is a temporary measure. This is just using the default environment in Godot. The more important and pressing matter is to be able to hook up all of these back to the model. It's not hard to do, but the system and how it works is a lot different. So this used to use like a very hard-coded pub sub, whereas the new system is like a very loose pub sub, if that makes sense. So this one requires like explicit values for every pub sub value, if that makes sense. So you want to subscribe to a specific pub sub notification in this application. Whereas this one, you can subscribe to a pub sub notification that may or may not exist. So there's a lot less errors. It's more error resistant, if that makes sense. There's some reports on localhost. Run a timer, yeah. Oh no. Hopefully you won't realize that my My administrator account is also called admin. Possibly roots. Oh no. I think exposing your DNS servers are also like okay, right? Like, oh no. Maybe you'll also figure that I'm using 0.0.0.0 for my DNS. Oh no. Please don't hack my DNS. Right, 0.0000 is Google's DNS, isn't it? Probably not the most optimal one to use anymore, but ever since Google fell out of favor with pretty much everyone, right? So hold on, should save. What we want to do is hook up a signal, a connection to our app manager. Google should be something like 8844. I don't remember. Networking is one of my weaker areas for sure. Networking is one of my weaker areas. I've been trying to, you know, I've been trying to work on it. But there's so many other things I would rather focus my attention on. Like 3D rendering, you know? So on debounced. On debounced. Cloudflare, yeah, Cloudflare is 1111. Cloudflare seems to have a lot of problems though, in my opinion. Debounce received. Debounce received. I know a fair bit. I have zero knowledge on anything security related. I don't know, just you know, just do everything plain text. What could go wrong? Heading out for the night, gonna play out with Godot 4, I think. Hope your deving goes well. I hope it also goes well, but thanks for hanging out, Nova. Go check out Nova. Nova also does streams. They do a lot of Godot development as well, but you know, I think they mostly make games. If you're looking for software development using Godot, you're in the right place. But if you want to see someone use Godot for the correct uses, what it should actually be used for, Nova's a good choice. They wrote a game entirely on stream. Plain text through Caesar Cipher, yeah. Caesar Cipher, almost as good as their salad. Which hacker would expect the Caesar Cipher? Yeah. Probably a hacker that doesn't expect a... Well, you know, it's one of those things where you go all the way back around to... Like, there's no way someone would be dumb enough to use a Caesar Cipher. Caesar Cipher is just a substitution cipher, isn't it? Caesar Cipher? Cipher? Isn't Caesar Cipher just a substitution one? Yeah, or it's a shift cipher. It's not even substitution, it's just shift cipher. Yeah. It's just a shift cipher. It's not substitution. It's close to substitution. Yeah, roleplay where one puzzle was a Caesar cipher. Don't think it's any good. I mean, it's easy to explain to people for sure. Yeah, but pretty much everything that I know about ciphers is from the Cryptonomicon or whatever. Anyways, if you want to look at whatever thing I'm looking at here, that's it. Free and open source, etc., etc. Working on the rewrites. It's taking a little bit. So if should save, if not, debounce received, then we'll just return. It's the only thing we're looking for. Doesn't it technically count as a substitution cipher? I guess it does, right? Since I guess everything is just substituted one over. Well, isn't like once you know the algorithm, isn't anything a substitution cipher? I'm like rolling that around in my head. Like once you know the algorithm, everything is a substitution cipher, right? Right? if debounce received, then debounce received is equal to false, and then should save is equal to false. And let's think about what we want to do here. So we try to debounce whenever possible. On should use custom interpolation set. So this is when you press enter on any text field. So should save false. Debounce received also false. One of those. Well, every A word would get translated to the same character after being encrypted. I need to start contributing to some projects. Have I got a project for you? Maybe not now, though. Maybe not now. Or actually, save config. Oh, actually, wait a minute. Yeah, what am I doing? I don't even need to wait for a debounce. I just need to call save config. So I update something and then call save config on here. Yeah. Too scared to respond to issues and PRs? Well, see, that's the secret, right? That's the secret. As long as you never take any money, you're never liable for anything. Taps head. Tap side of head. Yeah. What am I doing? I don't need to debounce here at all. I changed this so I don't need to debounce. Like, it's still nice to be able to connect to a debounce in case we do need to. But actually, all we need to do is do the usual stuff. So interpolation rate changed. Interpolation rate changed. Here we have the text. So if text not is valid float, then we'll just return. Don't do anything. It's not an error. You just might have mistyped. When it comes to reverting changes, commits, I'm terrible at git. Well, oh, thank you very much for the follow, Fantoser. Much appreciated. I have a Discord server if you want to check that out as well. There we go. There's the bot. Look at that. Bot totally works. Luckily, they did not restart my container. Because I don't maintain my own container distribution because I'm lazy. I use someone else's. There we go. But really, I'm just in it for the stars. But yeah, I think the secret for programming is that, you know, as long as you're not doing any like super complicated algorithmic stuff or any really complicated shader or rendering stuff, I don't know, like for the most part, you can just Google it. Like I Google most things as well. Like most of the stuff that I'm doing right now is mostly just basic logic, you know, we're just responding to events and then handling them appropriately. Yeah, but anything that has to do with Git, just do what everyone else does and just Google what you want to do. You know, that's the hard part about programming, is knowing how to phrase a question appropriately. Interpolation rate changed. So this should be like AM CM. Okay, now there was a specific thing I had to do here. So config manager. I remember I was really proud about how I structured this, but now I don't remember how to do it anymore. So is it set data? Yeah, set data. Set the art of Googling. I mean, it sounds really sarcastic, right? But it's like, it's not. Yeah, art of Googling is actually like a very valuable skill to learn. Knowing how to phrase a question is very invaluable. Like I remember I was on the Godot Discord this morning, and then just looking through some of the questions, because I like reading through other people's questions. They help me, you know, think about the question. Maybe I'll learn something new. But man, so many of the questions are just like, hey, here's a paragraph about my own backstory and my own, you know, personal learning journey with Godot. I was like, man, I don't care about. Sorry, but like I don't care about your personal learning journey. Like, please get to the question, and then they phrase the question in the worst way possible, you know, like, and then they don't ask a question at the end. They ask a question like during their intro story. It's very weird. And then their last sentence of their question, quote unquote, is like, "Why is Godot this way?" And I'm like, that's not a relevant question. You know, you need to know how to ask a question. You know, part 1 of the question, what are you trying to do? Part 2 of the question, what did you try to do? That's optional. Part 3 of the question, ask an actual question in 1 sentence. So your question should be like 3 sentences, maybe 5 sentences max. And you should, you know, max 2 questions for the backstory of like, what are you trying to do? 1 sentence max of like, what did you try to do? You know, run-on sentence is okay. Then 1 question max. What is your question? You utilize the Markdown in Discord to emphasize your messages? Yeah, I don't know. Just it's whenever you see something that's just a big block of text, I'm like, man, I'm sorry, I'm not reading it. I'm gonna read the first line and the last line. If I don't see a question, I'm not going to read the rest. You know, 3 questions is optimal. What are you trying to do? What did you try to do? What's your question about it? So like, how do I custom draw something in Godot? I tried using the visual server using this function. What function should I be using? You know, that's an optimal question. Easy easy to understand, takes almost no time to read because it's basically 1 sentence because I phrased it that way. And also is not super duper hard to parse in your head. So this is interpolation rate changed. I don't think I actually have the ability to set this. You should make my actual question bold to attract the eyes to it. Yeah, just make the entire thing bold. No problem. Therefore, everyone must see it. That's why I make my web pages all under the H1 tag. Professional UI UX designer. I don't know. I mean, how do you feel about this UX though? I think this is okay. Like, this is kind of ugly. Well, this is not bad. It's just a bunch of buttons. There's only so many things you can click on, and then this is pretty clean. We're still hooking everything up. I need to think about how I'm going to set values using this though. Like, this is a bit confusing. I guess what we can do. Oh, I don't actually have a way of setting this. So these are the bone transforms, and then we can have like bone interpolations as well, I think. And then this is like the global bone interpolation rate. So we'll add another thing to my model config. But then I need to test it. Oh. I don't want to write tests. I hate writing tests on stream because it always makes me feel so non-productive. Bone interpolation rates. So this is bone ID int2 interpolation rates, which is a float. So that's self-descriptive. Bone transforms not super descriptive, so it needs a comment. Additional bones not super descriptive, so it needs an additional comment. I love seeing the code coverage % go up. I also like seeing that % go up. I've been working on it. I do have like tests set here, so that there's tests. Hold on. There's the model tests. So we have like test interpolation data. Look at that. I'm pretty sure I can still run all the tests and they should all work. Run it. Ooh, baby. Let's go. Look at that. All green. All green. We'll run it again just in case. Ooh. Every now and then, the test will fail though, because the tests are run in random order. I know exactly what's causing the failure, and it's because of dynamically loading and unloading a DLL. So unloading a DLL is not something you should actually do, but sometimes it just happens. Because how this application works, or how the future version of it's supposed to work, is that you can load in a GD native extension, basically like some C++ or Rust, and then be able to load it in and replace one of these functions with your own script, which is kind of cool. That's probably my favorite part about Godot. Besides the ability to, you know, introspect on the source code as well. Kind of losing it. I tried to do root motion, but my model rotated 180 on the z-axis in Godot. Sorry for venting, just angry about it. Hey, you know, it happens. It happens. What do you mean root motion? Root motion. Is that a thing? Is that a specific thing? Root motion? Sorry, y-axis. That makes more sense. So because the z-axis is like the axis coming out of and into the screen. Yeah, I like how Godot does its axes in any case. It makes more sense than how at least Unreal does it. I think Unreal does it like the Blender way, but also backwards. AM set data. Do I have any way of grabbing this? So there's get data. I can get the data. So we can do get data. It's all via just a string key. So we want to verify that it's not null. We'll also want to I mean that's probably okay, right? So this is the bone interpolation rate. So var bone interpolation rate dictionary. Right, so if bone interpolation rate dict is null, that should actually be an error. Maybe I should put a logger on this as well. Yeah, I should probably put a logger on this as well. So let's do var logger. So this is just a logger, I suppose. Logger is equal to logger new self, I suppose. Root motion, when the animation has a root bone that moves on the z-axis, and that is used to move forward the character, but my character appears backwards in Godot. I cannot move forward and also look at the wrong direction. Yeah, that happens as well with this one. So you might notice when I load in a VRM model here, the model is actually facing backwards. So I think it's good to know that the z-axis actually points towards you in the positive direction in Godot. Yeah. I think this uses the Unity directions, so the Unity directions are actually flipped. So when I get back to doing the UI stuff, I need to fix that, or account for that here. How does the logger work? Does the logger use print errors? I don't remember. Print error? Oh, actually, it doesn't even print error. It just prints it, which will always be caught by the logger anyways. The front view is away from the z-axis in Godot. I don't remember. I mostly do 2D. I'm sorry. I mostly do 2D and then also just do random tooling. So I guess if you scrub through all my repositories, you know, I wrote a Lisp in Godot. I wrote an HTML style UI library for Godot. I wrote a regex library for Godot, an OBS WebSocket connection for Godot. I have a few too many Godot things in my... few too many Godot projects, I guess. Yeah. I used to make root motion work like a year ago, so I'm not sure why this is happening. I don't know. Is it possible that you are just imagining it? You just had like a weird case of deja vu and then felt like you implemented it before, but not really. That's something that happens to me a lot. So don't feel weird about it. It's like, didn't I do this? Am I like gaslighting myself? It happens. Logger, error. Bone interpolation rate dictionary not found. So I feel like oh, and this is also wrong. Get data. This needs to refer to bone interpolation rates. So if that dictionary is not found, that could be a huge problem, but I'm not sure if I should treat that as an error or not. Maybe I should just create the dictionary, because the way that I structured this is that in base config, right? Base config has all of the necessary getters and setters and, you know, parsing and whatnots. And then it also has an other dictionary. It's similar in effect to how Godot has a meta dictionary. So, let me see. That's weird as heck. You might say it's very heckin' weird. Split query. I guess this is okay. Let's edit to do. Maybe this shouldn't be an error, but I'll go through at some points. So to do, maybe this shouldn't be an error. But otherwise, then we have our dictionary. It's a dictionary by reference, which means that we can do bone interpolation rate dictionary, bone name. So that's going to be our own name, guaranteed. Name is equal to text to float. So yeah, it should be a float, and then we should save it correctly. Yeah, okay. And then we'll also call am save config. So we'll attempt to debounce it as well, so we don't write to a file as fast as possible. So it should use custom interpolation. I think that's okay. Or maybe this should be omitted and then caught by something else. So we always catch everything at our base pop-up, basically our pop-up level. I'm trying to structure this in such a way that it's not garbage again, right? So this is what I was working with before, right? This is the bone display. These are the bone displays. And then this entire view is the pop-up. So maybe I should do all the data writing from the pop-up level instead of trying to do it from the other thing, right? On interpolation rate sets, and then there's interpolation rate changed. Interpolation rate changed. Oh, I also got this backwards. Oh, good. Very good. Good job, me. Yeah, you know what? Let's move this over to bones. Bones should probably have this instead. So, bones needs to catch... Yeah, bones needs to catch any rate change. That's not too hard. So func bone interpolation, or on. I like to use that just so I can remember. Bone interpolation rate changed. So this is the rate. 100% is a float. So we guarantee that's a float. Then we'll do all of this stuff. Bum, 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 bum. So it's only in one place. Pretty easy. So rate, logger, error. So we do need to have a logger, which means I think we don't need to have a logger at this level. We just need to have it here at this level. So logger, say goodbye. Sorry, logger. Or actually, hold on. This has an error, because this has an error. Emit signal. Interpolation rate set. Or text to float, because we already checked to see if it's a valid float here. And then maybe for this logger stuff, I should also be doing it in the base setup function. Yeah. We'll think about it. We'll think about it. Because I also have a, oh, please fix yourself. So base pop-up. Yeah, I check that out. If you're interested in, or if you are a streamer yourself, this is also free and open source, by the way. Oh, I don't know where you went, but I sent you somewhere. Oh no, Isadora, I accidentally threw you outside the bounds of the thing. Or Avale. All right, well, I guess you'll just be at the very top of the screen then. It happens. 10 out of 10 programming. It's implemented in Godot, so that's how you know it's a sign of quality. So base pop up. Base pop up. I guess this is base pop up tree layouts. Bone display. Bone display. So bones is a base pop-up tree layout, which means we don't need to do it here. We can do it. Bones is the base pop-up tree layout. This is the base pop-up tree layout, which means we should probably do it here. Yeah. Because it's the control base pop-up. Oh, and then we also have a name, so we should do it from this level. Okay. We're figuring out how to structure an application, even though I've been programming for it like almost half my life now. So logger is equal to logger new p name. And then we can connect to a log signal. Or we can even pass down the logger as well whenever we want to log something from one of the child thingies. I wonder if there's a way to do this. That doesn't require a lot of custom code. Or if there's a way to map log strings. Is there a good way of doing that? So no logger and bone display. No logger and bones. Base pop-up. All right, so we can do logged. That's pretty easy. And we don't want to rebroadcast anything, but the rebroadcaster is in a different place. Yeah, so I have the concept of rebroadcasting so that I can show it inside of my log manager. There we go. Log manager listens for logger rebroadcasts. So we can collect all logs like so. So we go here. We go into debug. No, we don't want to look at the debug. We want to look at the logs. Look at that. It's beautiful. Even has the ability for you to copy and paste or open it in your native text editor. How fancy. Or you can just copy it to your clipboard. Also very fancy. Has very minimal syntax highlighting. I don't know why. Well, I do know why, because I enabled it, but I never enabled any specific highlights. So I guess it's just using the built-in Godot syntax highlighting, which is neat. But yes, signal logged. This will be some sort of text. So anything can access that. Close log manager, bone display. Yeah, init connections doesn't need to have anything bones. For every single bone page that we add here, I guess we do need to add a reference back to the parent. So we can do var parents. It'll be some sort of control. That's fine. Parent control. So then we'll have a p parent. Parents is equal to p parents. And so then we can call, I guess we can call log, or maybe not. Maybe we don't even need to do this. All right, just scrap that idea. There's nothing really we want to log here, right? Because then we catch everything we need to catch. Yeah, we catch everything we need to catch at the bones level anyways. So we have the logged signal, which will then be caught by the base pop-up, which has the logger. Yes. Yeah, okay. So screen, blah, 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 screen. Connect, logged, self, on logged. Yeah, okay. So on close, that's pretty obvious. And then on logged, some sort of text string. So logger info text. Now I suppose, yeah, log type. You can specify a log type as well. Log type, and then this will be logger log type info. And then we can kind of, yeah, we can totally futz with this as well by calling the private function, but I don't want to do that. Just make sure that everything still works, because I'm changing a lot of things I wasn't envisioning I would have to change. All right, that's fine. All green, still pretty good. Or I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it. There's a good way of doing it. Maybe I should just have a logger on everything, so it's not as spaghetti. So we have a logger on every single pop-up, and then on our every single tree layout as well. Oh, hello, Needle Mouse. How are you? How are you? Hello, hello. Bone display. Yeah, this stuff is all probably fine. So we have a logger. Yeah, that's probably fine. Logger info. Window title. Window title. Oh, there we go. Kind of nervous and happy. Same, to be honest. Why are you feeling kind of nervous and or happy? Model setup. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Why are you feeling kind of nervous and happy? And you know what? Talking about something that we have previously talked about a while ago. So for the Bullet Hell Jam, probably going to be working on it tomorrow, but I figured out a good idea. I figured out a very good idea. What if it was like a Pokemon style almost? Basically, it's going to be, what if you mix an auto battler plus a bullet hell? Ooh. There's an idea. Bullet hell mixed with an auto battler. So that's probably what I'm going to be working on tomorrow. But I don't usually stream tomorrow. For me, it's because I have 2 girlfriends. They both like me and we decided to date. Well, I mean, as long as you're like just dating, I guess that's usually fine. You know, I don't know what the lingo is nowadays. Even during like my day, there was like the difference between like being in a relationship with somebody and dating somebody was still somewhat blurry. That was in my fantasies. Yeah, you're pretty lucky. Yeah. Way to brag. You know, save some for the rest of us, etc., etc. Actually, I don't think that they're in my age group, so I shouldn't be saying that. But you know, congrats anyways. Congrats. Proud of you, son. It's because a girl we made up after breaking up 2 years ago. Nice. Congratulations. It's a tough life. Like, I can definitely tell you that it's a lot harder talking to, I suppose, the gender that you're interested in once you get out of school, because you're no longer like forced to interact with people. You're no longer forced to interact with people, so go get them while you can, son. 2 years ago, I was very stupid, and it was something about her other friend that made me break up with her. Not my feelings for her. I was just very dumb. You know, I think the older you get, the more you realize that your earlier self, your younger self, was, you know, not as smart as they should have been. You know, I think me from roughly 5 years ago was a lot dumber than me right now. Now, have I, you know, and then from that point, from me from 5 years ago, probably thought that me from 7 years ago was pretty dumb. You know, you learn a lot. You learn more every year you're alive, but I think you also progressively learn less every year that you're alive. Because I don't know. I mean, a lot of the things are the same. Oh, I was lost in the problem. I was supposed to go to sleep an hour ago. Well, bye then. All right. Thanks for hanging out, Fantoser. Thanks for hanging out. Have a good sleep. I'm just thinking my way through it because I don't think I need to have parents. I'm looking at a lot of these variables. I'm like, man, do I actually need these? Like, I don't think I need parents. So I prefer to run this by itself. I should still be good. Yeah, we're still good. No errors. We can click all of these things. Nothing happens, which is good. Base tree pop-up. Turns I'm dating our friends, and they relate me since I felt the same way for them. We just started to date. Well, yeah, see, that's dating. I think I was starting to touch on that. So, like, dating is like you're just testing the waters. But then once you get into like a, you know, as they say, a relationship, it's a bit different. Unless you're, I suppose you're in a polyamorous relationship, but I don't really have any experience with that. One of my roommates used to be like used to be poly, as they said. Parents aren't necessary. It's possible. I don't know. Not a parent. I don't have any kids, so I can't speak to that. I think at some level, parents are necessary, but for the most part, yeah, not really. On interpolation rates set. Actually, text entered, it's just text, right? So this is text string, right? Yeah, okay, that's a bug. So this should be the same thing. These are the same thing, actually. Yeah, what am I doing? What am I doing? These should just use the same function, really. So on interpolation rate changed, and so that's text entered, text changed. What's the difference? So line edits. Line edit, line edit, line edit. What is this? What am I looking at? File dialog. Line edit. Line edit. Line edit. The sad thing is we're going to different schools. Well, one of them. Yeah, she goes to a different school. She lives in Canada. You wouldn't understand. I was gonna move into the similar city, graduates. That's tough. That's tough. Text changed and text enters. Yeah, so these are all just text. Even unsure if we're talking about your code or real parents. I mean, the code is my parents, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. Yeah, there we go. We're in the same school. After this year ends for high school? Don't worry, I understand. I too was once a high schooler. When did I go to high school? I graduated high school in like early 2010s. Man, it's been 10 years. It's almost been 10 years since I was in high school. I think 10 years ago I was still in high school. I should say that. But man, it's been a long time. High school is what age? High school is 13 to 18, roughly. 13 to 18, roughly. 14 to 15. Well, I guess congrats on exposing your age. High school is 13 to 18 years old, roughly. (13 to 18). Well, for 9th. So you're a freshman. First year. So you're a first year in high school. As they say, a freshman. When you go to university or American university, most people refer to it as first, second, third, fourth year. Unless you're on that, I guess, the easy course for some people. In university, a lot of people usually do a few more years than just anything that fits nicely into freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. I love different school systems, yeah. Like, I know when I was talking to my cousins, I couldn't understand which year they were in because I was like, man, I don't know what Form 9 is. What the heck is Form 9? Is Form 9 like high school or what? So I'm thinking about this. So we set all of these things in Bone Display. Bone Display is a scroll container. Bones has a bone display, and then Bones is a base tree pop-up layout. I guess we'll look at this. Nice UI, I guess. I'm not sure. Is that BD? Were you talking about BW? Yeah, okay, BSPWM. Using fish though. Fish, not my favorite shell. If only because fish isn't very compatible with many shell scripts. High school will be directly translated to Högskola, which is about the same as university in Sweden. Yeah. Higher education, higher school, not actually high school. Yeah, high school used to actually mean something in the US like 30 years ago. So init connections. So Bones is a base pop tree layout. So Bones needs to listen for these things. We listen for these things from interpolation rate sets. Interpolation rate set. So we can listen for these specific ones. Bone page connect. Interpolation rate set. On interpolation rate set. On interpolation, where is this used? Okay, we can do this. Try out a lot of window managers. I'm thinking of doing OpenBox next. Doesn't OpenBox require a lot of configuration though? I don't know. Too much. UI is just Endeavor OS's community edition of BSPWM. I'll try awesome. Yeah, awesome window manager looks cool. I've seen a lot of cool rices for that on Unix porn. Yeah, or to install Linux. Yeah, I don't know. You're talking to the wrong guy if you're talking to like a lot of fancy configuration. I prefer performance over configuration. So that's why I use XFCE. It's just XFCE is just Windows XP, which is my favorites. But bone interpolation rate, and then we'll save config. So which means that I can just run it like this, and we can check the bone interpolation rate for the duck from here, right? And then we should also be able to hook up the other things as well. So if we set this to be like 1, then I can go into remotes just to make sure that we're actually changing things. There's no tracker, which makes sense. Like the window manager automatically, the config is in one file that I can copy from systems. Yeah. If it has like a really easy dot file to transfer, that's always a huge plus. So other additional bones, bone transforms, instance props. Huh? Did it not work? Oh, bone interpolation rate, bones. All right, yeah, that's not right. That's not right. Hold on. Okay, so I need to delete my config file. Is it this one? Is it this one? I think I can delete most of these after you change me to icon.json question mark. What? All right, yeah, just delete all of these. That's fine. We can send this. It should still work. Okay, cool. Nix flakes and whatever all that is. Nix is pretty sick. Nix OS. Not a problem with configuring BSPWM where I would open a DE and it would just be broken. Can't do anything on it. Did it clean us on Endeavor OS and it's good now? Yeah. So once you get more experience with Linux, you start, you know, hopefully you start compiling your own install scripts at some point. Hopefully you start configuring your own install scripts. Page info. Get tree current, whatever, blah, blah. Bone name. Oh, okay. So I need to, interpolation rate set, I need to emit 2 things. So I need to emit the bone name. So bone name plus the rate. So here, we only store the bone name from here. So bone name. So we use the same bone name everywhere. Bone name is not declared in the current scope. All right, so it's just the name. That's fine. Dot files repo and use GNU. Stow to symlink it in the correct place. That's about it. I don't know. Have you considered using NixOS? I think NixOS is almost the same methodology as using like Ansible, if you're familiar with that. Ansible or Puppet or whatever. So Ansible Ansible is actually what I mostly work at work. So it's like, it's a piece of software that's meant to replace like system administrators, which is what I'm really good at doing. It's a lot of automation stuff, but it also guarantees that when you run it, it should be idempotent. So it only makes a change if it needs to make a change. That's one of the nice parts about it, as long as you're using the built-in modules. If you're just running built-in or your own shell scripts, it's not guaranteed to be idempotent, but you know. But yeah, the job market for Ansible, which is pretty much just setting up a bunch of Linux machines in a very reproducible way. It's pretty big. It's pretty big. I recommend learning how to do Ansible. Unfortunately, Ansible uses YAML as its configuration language, and then it's kind of turned into its own kind of beast, which is a huge pain to work with. We talk about Arch Linux or use another OS in the summer, like Void Linux. They're all the same. All Linux distributions are more or less the same, really. Especially once you figure out how to do, you know, like compile software on your own. Once you learn how to compile software, all the distributions are the same, more or less. At that point, the main differentiator between a lot of distributions is like which libc do they use? Do they use like glibc? Do they use muscle? You know, it's really not worth the pain of having to compile, recompile constantly. Look, I will try every OS in the world. So, you know, more power to you, I suppose. So I set this to 1. We're just checking to see if the correct things are set, just so I know that it works. So this should be, we're looking for a dictionary of size 1. Bone interpolation, this is chest. Yeah, okay, there we go. So we're setting it correctly. We can delete that file. No more metadata.json because I don't think it's set correctly either. And it will be my Linux's power. Linux is okay. I think Linux is very disposable, which is the nice part about it. Linux is very disposable because it is free to get a license for it. Stay hungry, I devour. I think it's better to, in my opinion anyways, it's better to learn how to write scripts than learn how to install Linux. I think that point in time is behind us. Like, we have the technology that no one ever needs to manually install Linux distribution ever again. You know, we've moved on to just, you know, here's a script. Install this on 100 different machines. Put in the compiler, put in the commands to make what's ours. I suppose, you know, it is like something that you have touched personally. Just probably don't phrase it like that, but you know, I feel like you can get almost the same thing out of just writing your own piece of software as well. All right, so we need to pass along the bone name with all of these. Bone name. Bone name. So all of these need to go through here. So bone name, bone name, bone name. So name, name. Okay, yeah. And then this one doesn't need to pass it along. Yeah. Linux shows it in my veins. Possibly. Installing Arch Linux is only fun the first time. Yeah, this is true. It's a huge pain. Second to like 20 more times. But see, I think that's the point, right? Is that you're not supposed to do it manually. You're only supposed to do it like manually once, I guess, to experience it. And then hopefully, you know, a second time, you'll have a few scripts that you can just run once you get past the initial setup part. So you can run the setup script. So instead of going into the setup manager, instead of just like a random TTY, you can just run a script that will run a few things for you. Which automates a bunch of stuff. So you don't need to use like okay, you know, how do I configure my MBP or whatever? Most of the hardware I use has a master boot or MBR, master boot record. What's the newer one? The G one? Don't remember. Yeah, they ship it with an install script, right? but like you still need to run through it and like manually run some stuff. GPT, yeah, GPT. GPT sounds about correct. But there's master boot record, I know for sure, because that's the one I have to use. Yeah, MBT versus GPT. Yeah, MBR versus GPT. GDT, that's nightmares for OS, yeah. Yeah, so you should be using a GPT. At least that's the guidance that I was given. MBR, master boot record, is more compatible. Yeah, GPT offers a maximum capacity of 9.7 zettabytes, where MBR is only 2 terabytes, yeah. But MBR is more compatible. Yeah, I know things, I'm technically a certified Linux administrator, as certified by the biggest Linux company in the world. I guess I'll let you figure out which one that is. Self on is tracking set, should pose set. So we'll do all of this stuff, map it back to the various config stuff. On should pose. Ooh. Okay, should use custom interpolation rate. On should use custom. All right, there we go. So now we have everything we need. Everything takes in a bone name. So is tracking, states is some sort of bool. All these are just going to be stubbed out for now. Last one. I think this is pretty good clip for typing, right? Like it's I think if I was just typing words with almost no punctuation, as you would normally do during a typing test, this would be pretty slow. But considering I'm hitting all kinds of punctuation at the same time, I think it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Not too bad. Not too bad. All right, so model config. Additional bones. We need to set this from the config manager. So this is additional bones. So am/cm get data additional bones. So if words per minute is only fast when you know what to type, yeah. Or like I guess if you get paid to type really quickly as well. So if you're like a typist or like a stenographer, but even then, like stenographers don't use a normal keyboard. Or stenographer, not stenographer. Stenographer keyboard, yeah. Maybe you could get one of these things. Look at this. Like this is an American stenographer keyboard. I've wanted to try to use one of these, by the way. This looks cool. A steno machine. Look at that. A court typist. That might be kind of cool. Oh, look at that. Stenography for programming. Oh, baby. Looks horrible. Yeah, I think my programming words per minute is about 70 to 80. But if you were to, you know, set me down for an hour and I just practice typing, I can hit about 120. It's like, it's, you know, what's the point, right? What's the point? Okay, so here we go. We need to figure out. Let me see. So we have the model. Model, Skelly Man. So we have the bone. So this is like get bone. Or is it just get bone? How do I get a bone from a name? So those videos where they're competing in words per minute, yeah. I mean, they get pretty dumb. They're pretty dumb, in my opinion, at least. Find bone. Okay, it's find bone. Skeleton, find bone. Or actually, it should be var bone ID. So model skeleton find bone. So if bone ID is less than 0, then hit you with a logger. We have a logger, right? Yeah, we should. Actually, we don't. Okay, hold on. Gotta think. What things would you want here? Because we don't have any logger stuff. Base pop-up. I guess we have just the name to assign to it. Okay, so we can do it based off the name. Yeah, we can do it based off the name. So here's your pack scene. Screen name is equal to p name. And then here we can just give it its own logger as well. I think that's fine. So logger. So in the ready function, 100% at a time, we'll set a logger. So logger new name, because we can guarantee that we'll always have a name from here. And then we have a logger. So logger error bone not found. So this is bone name. Aborting config modification. Team you lose. Very rude. May I ask why you say that? Just kidding. All right. You're lucky, mister. I had my hand over the ban button. That's not true. But imagine how unhinged that would be if I was actually ready to ban you for saying that. Alright, so bone ID. So bone ID is one of these. But actually, that's not true, because this is if state. So if state is true, basically. So then we'll do this. Else. Additional bones, bone name, erase, bone ID. Yeah, look at that. Me when Godot, cracked wolf. What the heck is that? Is that like a doge with like bloody eyes? What the heck is it? What the heck is it? It's like a diglet as well. It's like a diglet doge with bloody eyes. All right, should pose Should pose is not really related to any of these things. But whenever we do pose it, we do need to modify the model transform. So let's add a stub comment to here. So, you an anime? Uwu. Well, I got bad news for you. I mostly only do Godot stuff, so prepare yourself. Needs to be set in model config from here. Only afterwards. Only after posing. So should use custom interpolation. Oh, okay. I see why this is kind of tough now. So bone interpolation rates. Maybe this should be I can't confirm has seen create a single anime yet. Yeah, not yet. Maybe one day. I mean that's like this. That's like the sad story of one of my favorites musical YouTubers or guitar fingerstyle YouTubers. Let me see if I can find it. It's a very sad story. Like they actually gave up doing music in order to do anime, which is I don't know. There's something weird about that. There's something almost poetic about that. So they used to do anime music covers on YouTube, and now they just make anime themselves. Where is it though? I can find it. I can find it. Hold on, I have it saved in one of my playlists. Yeah, this one. Don't play it. Don't actually play it. Yeah, one of these. Look at this. I'll just paste that in the chat. We're not actually going to listen to it. This is a very good cover, but yeah, I think this guy is actually he's now the lead animator on Castlevania, the Castlevania anime that's airing on Netflix. Remember months ago I was watching a dude that made a Vtuber program using Xbox Connect. Yeah, I mean there's a lot of things, right? There's a lot of things that you could try to solve for. Xbox Connect is one of the things I was wanting to integrate with, but it's tough, right? It's tough. Yeah, I suppose one of the things that does tend to grind my gears is when people say like, oh, why haven't you done this yet? You know, this person has done it, why haven't you? And it's like, you know, we can't all devote all our time to working on something. You know, I don't have unlimited time. Unlike other programmers that stream as often as I do, I have a real job. I got him. So, yeah. So like you know, I also just do regular things during the day as well. As much as I like to play it off. Yeah. So I can't just work on things during the day. This is why I stream, is to encourage me to work on things during the evening. Xbox Connect can detect ghosts. Oh, thank you for the host, by the way, I suppose. But I don't think Xbox Connect can detect ghosts. Oh, thank you very much. Oh, and you also watch KT as well. I saw that in your profile really quickly before I closed it. KT would also recommend watching them. I think they're also part of a new VTuber group that's centered around programming. I wouldn't consider myself a VTuber, so that's why I'm not there. So should use custom interpolation. Bones to interpolate. Got coaxed into downloading Genshin. Excellent game. Highly recommended. Probably, I would place that in my top 3 games. Even though the monetization scheme is kind of, you know, not great. So it goes. AMCM get data. KT. Looks like it's pronounced Kai Tan. think I saw them as one of your recommended channels, Desh. Well, it's not I think, I know I saw it, so will not be gaslit. I know things. Bones to interpolate is null, so we always need to have this null check. So to do might not be an error. Kai-10, yeah. So they do go by KT sometimes, or at least that's what they told me they call them. So bones to, so if states, then bones to interpolate append if states and bones to interpolate. Oh, hold on. We'll do this. So we always need to grab the bone ID from the bone name, but then we have, if not, bones to interpolate has bone ID, then we'll do bones to interpolate appends bone ID. Pretty easy, because these are just settings, so I don't mind if it's a bit inefficient. The alternative programming streamer I watch, yeah. KT does tend to do more game-related stuff for sure. I think I gave them advice of, you know, questionable quality when it comes to setting up their Twitch stuff, because you know, I set up my own Twitch stuff. I wrote my own library for Twitch. I think they're using Twitch lib, which is a C# library. So, I don't know if my advice was detrimental or not, but it was correct. But possibly also led to some code duplication as well. But I did walk him through that really quickly. All right, so there is, should use custom interpolation rate, which also means that I do need to grab these values then from the app manager. So then we do have a setup. Oh, and then also I should be doing this connection stuff, not in init, I guess. We'll need to think about it. Yeah, like these are the connections, which will guaranteed I can guarantee will happen afterwards, but maybe I don't actually need that, like in connections. Maybe that can just happen in setup, I suppose. Yeah, we'll think about it. But anyways, I am over time. I'm trying to not go super over time every day anymore, because you know I do have other stuff I need to do. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. I'll be live for sure Sunday from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern time, working on trying to hopefully finish up this program, hopefully finish up this program so we can, you know, we're getting close. You know, I'm feeling out how to hook everything up, or at least it seems like everything is working how I think it's supposed to be working. Yeah, so if you would like to check on the progress of whatever it is, all the code is available on my GitHub, which you can find there. Here's the specific project. There's the repo for the bot. Look at that. You know, check out the Discord if you want more real-time-esque updates on whatever the heck it is I'm working on. Because I do show off various things. Like I was working on a TOML parser for Godot as well, which I did finish on stream, by the way, before I was working on this. So that's a lot of C++. Yeah, give the channel a follow. Let's find out if we want to raid someone. Who's streaming right now? Yeah, there's KT, but I always feel a bit weird raiding someone who has more viewers than me. Let's raid someone who is also doing Godot, shall we? So let's raid Wyatt. Wyatt is making some mini games in Godot. So if you actually use Godot to make games. This is probably a good channel to look at. Wyatt, pretty good programmer. Highly recommend. But yeah, follow the channel, join the Discord. Give me stars on GitHub. That's really all I'm in it for. Goodbye.